Before leaving the Texas Hill Country for my next stop in San Antonio, I had to make a brief stop in Lukenbach, Texas, to see if I could find old Waylon, Willie, and the boys. Lukenbach is only about 10 miles from Fredericksburg, Texas, and first gained notoriety in 1977 when Waylon Jennings and Willie Nelson put it on the map with their #1 country hit, Lukenbach, Texas, Back to the Basics of Love. And from 1995 to 1999, Lukenbach was the site of Willie Nelson's popular 4th of July picnic. In recent years, quieter times have returned to Lukenbach. It still hosts live music with local and regional talent on weekends during the summer. The day I visited, Lukenbach had more of a ghost town feel, as there was only a couple of other tourists walking around the dusty path. The only building that was open was the one that housed the general store, post office, and souvenir shop. I grabbed a couple of souvenirs and a cold drink and decided to head on down the road to historic San Antonio. It's only about 70 miles from the Texas Hill Country to historic San Antonio, and like most people, my first stop was at the Alamo. The Alamo is the most sacred shrine in Texas. It was originally a chapel that was built between 1716 and 1718 by the Franciscans, but by 1800 it fell into ruins, and for several years, beginning in 1801, the chapel was occupied by Spanish troops, who began referring to it as the Alamo, because it stood among a grove of cottonwood trees. In December 1835, at the beginning of the Texas Revolution, a group of Texas volunteers forced the Mexican troops from San Antonio and occupied the chapel. On February 23, 1836, the Mexican Army, under the command of General Santa Anna, arrived in San Antonio, and the historic siege of the Alamo began. Among the 180-plus volunteers that was defending the Alamo was William Baird Travis, Jim Bowie, and Davy Crockett. For 13 days, the Alamo defenders held out. But on the morning of March 6, 1836, the Mexican army stormed the Alamo and overwhelmed the defenders. General Santa Anna ordered that there be no prisoner taken, and the defenders were all killed. Only 15 people, mostly women and children, survived. The Alamo became the symbol of the Texas Revolution, and on April 21, 1836, the Texas forces defeated Santa Anna at the Battle of San Jacinto, amid the cries of "Remember the Alamo." Today, the cottonwoods are long gone, and the Alamo stands in the middle of downtown San Antonio. The sacred shrine is the most visited site in the state of Texas. There is no charge to visit the Alamo, but visitors should be warned there is no photography or video permitted inside the chapel. Standing in the Alamo Plaza is the Spirit of Sacrifice Memorial. The memorial was dedicated in 1936 on the 100th anniversary of the Battle of the Alamo, and contains the names of all of the known Alamo defenders. Just a short walk from the Alamo is the San Fernando Cathedral, which was built between 1736 and 1750, and is thought to be the oldest cathedral in the state of Texas. After the Battle of the Alamo, the bodies of the Alamo defenders were stacked and burned by the Mexicans. What happened to their ashes is a matter that is still being discussed today. One account is that the ashes were collected and interred near the altar here at the cathedral, where they remained until 1936, when the container was discovered during renovations to the church. The remains were then placed in this crypt that rests near the entrance to the sanctuary. The small crypt bears a simple lone star with the pictures of the three most notable defenders, Davy Crockett, William Baird Travis, and Jim Bowie. Over the years, many historians have come to believe that the crypt does not contain the ashes of the defenders, but rather they were buried in a peach orchard that was near the Alamo, where Commerce Street runs today. But still thousands of people each year visit this crypt, which remains a solemn reminder of the sacrifice that was made by the brave Texans who died defending the Alamo. Just a short drive from downtown San Antonio is one of the city's hidden treasures, the San Antonio Mission Trail. The trail consists of 4 missions that were built over 250 years ago and are still home to active congregations today. The 4 missions are administered by the National Park Service and are about 2.5 miles apart, which makes them easily accessible by car or bike. Mission Concepcion was established on this site in 1731 and is the oldest of the churches on the Mission Trail. The Mission is also the oldest unrestored church in the United States. While walking through the Mission, you will see some of the original fresco paintings on the walls and ceiling. Several of these original frescoes were discovered during a restoration that was completed in 2010. Visitors should be aware that this is still an active church and some areas of the Mission may not be available due to church functions. The second mission I visited was Mission San Jose. The church that we see here today was completed in 1768 and is the largest mission on the trail. The mission also serves as headquarters and visitor center for the National Park Service. I began my tour by watching a short film in the visitor center that details the history of the mission and what life was like for those who lived here. I ended up spending a couple of hours here and enjoyed a few of the programs that was led by the park rangers. If you can visit only one of the missions, I would suggest Mission San Jose. It gives you the most complete look at what mission life was like in the 17 and 1800s. The third mission on the trail was Mission San Juan, but it was closed to the public on the day of my visit due to a wedding, so I ended my tour at Mission Espada. This mission was founded in 1690 and relocated here to San Antonio in 1731. The church that we visit today was completed in 1756 and, like other churches on the Mission Trail, still holds Mass on Sunday mornings. It is the southernmost mission on the trail and holds the distinction of being the second mission established in the state of Texas. The San Antonio Mission Trail is a wonderful site that is easy to find and easy to navigate. I ended up spending a little more than a half a day touring 3 of the 4 missions, but the afternoon sun was setting and it was time for me to head back to downtown San Antonio for some dinner along the Riverwalk. Arriving back in downtown San Antonio, I made my way over to the Riverwalk. There's a wide array of restaurants, bars, and shops along the river, and no matter what your taste, you should be able to find something that fits your fancy. The Riverwalk was everything I expected and certainly exceeded my expectations. And if you get tired of walking, you can always take one of the water taxis that make their way along the river. The entire Riverwalk experience was very enjoyable and something that I will certainly do again. After a great dinner and a couple drinks on the Riverwalk, I decided to end my visit to San Antonio where I started, at the Alamo. I would encourage anyone visiting San Antonio to take the time to visit the Alamo at night. The experience is so different than in the daytime. At night, there are very few tourists, and you can take time to reflect and get a true sense of the somber respect that this site commands. This concludes my visit to San Antonio. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up below. If you want to keep up with my travels, please consider subscribing. But for now, it's time for me to head on down the road and see what's around the bend.